an issue that came up when I was sheriff previously. And it had to do, as most things do, with the budget and with monies that had not been allocated for certain costs. And in that case, the easiest thing to say is unfunded holiday liability. I found out about it in 2012, and we addressed it. We addressed it with the appropriate uh, people, and we were moving to correct that situation with the idea that a union contract was going to be coming up, and the language in that contract and the parameters set around the holiday pay would be addressed. Uh, that I never had an opportunity to do. Uh, and the only way I will truly know how much unfunded liability and holiday pay is out there is to become sheriff again and to be able to see that. But my understanding, being told that it was more, there is more of it than there was when I was sheriff. And when I was sheriff, there was approximately $1 million in unfunded holiday liability. That's a lot of money. And it presents a number of different issues because I believe in compensating people for what they've earned. But I also believe when it gets to the point that it's about a savings program for folks because they have too much time off, that also dilutes the purpose of holiday pay. So my solutions would be to demand a bargain, pay the folks what we owe them, come up with a reasonable settlement, and come up with a way that this does not burden the taxpayer in the future. I don't believe that's being done. And I believe that it will continue to grow and it will continue to burden the taxpayer. With that said, those are two of probably the biggest reasons why I'm running. I believe, to sum it up, there's going to be some budget issues. I truly don't feel like you can threaten to lay off 40 to 50 people, make the statement that you may call 911 and nobody answers, and use those sort of tactics and that office not feel it. Somewhere along the line, whether it be through attrition, whether it be through a budget in the future, that office will feel those effects. And the public spoke. They spoke clear that they would not support a public safety tax. So that then goes to what is the plan B? Mm-hmm. And plan B, I can guarantee you, was not Exelon came in and saved the day. That's making reference to a contract that hasn't even been signed yet. So there's going to be some financial issues coming up. I have a long history of solving financial problems and having the ability to institute zero-based budgeting, being accountable for every tax dollar, being a good steward of your tax dollars for the taxpayer. That's a big part of that job. And I do believe in surveying. I believe in getting feedback, not just from the county board, but from the general public that we are entrusted to serve. So I think the plan would be to jump in and really get an inside look at the books and all of the money issues that are going on. And additionally, there's an opportunity to be a co-manager with Rock Island County. So not only are you the sheriff of that office and you are responsible for that office, you have an obligation as a co-manager to the county. And I have some pretty innovative ideas on where I believe the county can go and where I feel that revenue opportunities are there. I think we can make it a better county. And I'm excited. I want this position. As I mentioned earlier, I was always coming back. It's just that I have to do it through this election now.
And we're excited for him.
My family supports me.
We are fully on board supporting this effort. He has never not gotten out of touch with everything that's been going on in Rock Island County, especially as it pertains to the sheriff's office. He's always had compassion for the people in Rock Island County. He has cared about the men and women of that department, the sheriff's office, that are committed and dedicated and want to be there, and he's supported that all the way. And when we sit down as a family and we talk about politics, and we talk about our surroundings, and we talk about our neighbors, people who are moving out of Rock Island and Rock Island County because they can get more of a house elsewhere for less tax or whatever the case is. You know, we talk about what does our future look like, and who's protecting our future, who's our voice at the table, and we all are in agreement all day long, every day, 24/7, and twice on Sunday. We want our dad, our husband, we want Jeff Boyd at the table being our voice for the citizens of Rock Island County and the taxpayers. He has never, ever cowered for standing up for what he believed in and was the right thing to do. Nobody ever said that the right thing to do was an easy thing to do. And all day long, again, every day and twice on Sunday, we want him to be our voice. And that's why we're behind him.
And that Ann brings up a interesting point because in my journeys of meeting you folks at your door, I've heard two stories that really stuck out. One of them was a gentleman that was into real estate. And when he started acquiring properties, fixing them up, renting them out, his cost for doing business, which he labeled it insurance and taxes, was roughly 1 month's rent. And he was able to cover his insurance and taxes. He's now at between 3 to 4 months' rent to cover his insurance and taxes. And it wasn't the insurance that skyrocketed. It was his taxes. Doesn't take a genius to figure out that between a quarter and a third of this man's working capital is going to that. The dilemma he's in is he could pass it on to the consumer, in this case, the person renting, but he's worried that his houses will sit empty. So he's looking at getting into that business on the Iowa side, in particular in Scott County, in Davenport. So I found that very interesting. Meeting him at his door, talking to him, seeing what was important. He clearly doesn't support raising taxes as the only means of raising revenue. Mm-hmm. He's not against taxes, but he wants to know that everything's been done before that's an option. The other woman I met in Coyne Center, it was interesting in talking to her. She works a job. She's a veteran. She has some serious medical conditions. And when I was there, it was raining and her roof was leaking. And she was kind of embarrassed about it and said, she was going to put a new roof on. However, she has to travel back and forth between the VA hospital and Coyne Center. And her car had just recently experienced some problems where she had to sink about $800 into it. In that moment of talking to her and trying to figure out, how can I help this woman, it just became clear. Does that woman really want her taxes raised? Does that woman really support a new retail sales tax? That woman is trying to get her car fixed, to have life-saving procedures done because she served our country and she served our country honorable. It's stories like that that make me really take a good look at every tax-paying dollar I would ever use. And there's no way of experiencing that unless you meet these people, unless you talk to these people. So with that being said, I do always want to give people the opportunity to reach out to me. My cell number is 309-948-4205. And my email is sheriffjeffboyd@gmail.com. I do check it and I will get back with you. I welcome views and insights from everybody, and I will promise to get back to you. And I look forward to talking to you some more in the future.